Let's see how we fuck this up.
Boy. Should we just sit here in silence?
Well, I was hoping to see if YouTube would actually show the fucking feed so I could try to add the chat.
It should popped up for me.
It hasn't for me yet. But I'm putting a lot of fucking hope in YouTube working right, you goddamn son of a bitch.
How much you want to bet this video gets pulled now because of you?
It should. It absolutely should.
YouTube hate speak.
Lick my balls.
Ooh. Salty.
All right, now it's kind of like a... You ever put a salt dome around a piece of fish when you cook it?
No. That actually sounds really good.
Yeah, you bake the fish, but you make this salt mixture. And I'm not sure exactly what all's in there. It's probably like egg or something to bind it together.
Mm-hmm.
And you put the whole fish into it, and you just kind of cake it on and everything, so it forms this whole shell around the fish, and so it cooks and it stays moist. And obviously the salt's in there, so good for you on that. And then you crack the thing open afterwards, and you eat the goddamn fish. Anyways, in this scenario, that fish is my chode. Yeah. In relation to YouTube not showing me what the hell like God.
Wow. You win.
But also because I've got salty balls.
Suck on my salty balls. Put them in your mouth. Suck them. Suck them. Suck them. No.
No, I love that song. There are chef songs that I will sing just because they're good songs, and that is a good ass song.
All right. No one's gonna come hang out with us. Let's just record this.
Yeah, I can't even look.
Oh, okay. I guess I will then. Asshole.
I tried. It's not my fault. Fucking YouTube. Maybe if I used Edge browser. Yes, son of a bitches.
I have to use Internet Explorer because I refuse to log out of my personal Gmail account in Chrome to do this. That's a personal problem.
Just I have like 3 Gmail accounts open at the same time.
Just a stubborn old man. Yeah. I could just open an incognito window, but then I have to log into it. This is logged in.
No, I've got 3 Gmail accounts all logged in together.
How do they all fit?
I got them in different tabs. So I've got my Don't Ask Comics. I've got my email for when I sent out resumes and stuff when I was looking for a job. I've got my writing account, and I've got my Captain Temerity.
Huh.
They're all just open in individual tabs.
But don't you have to log one out to log in to another one?
No, apparently not.
Oh, I guess though I log into Chrome.
Well, I'm using Chrome.
Well, no. I like log into Chrome.
Log into Chrome?
Yeah.
Maybe that's... I don't know.
I could just not do that, but then I can't complain about it. And
yeah, that's true.
I love complaining.
Believe me, I am not going to cockblock you from complaining about the goddamn Google right now. I'm about to take my Android phone and throw it across the fucking room.
Whoa.
Actually, I really like my Pixel.
Do you?
It's a good phone.
Sounds like it.
It's not the most attractive thing in the world. That's the thing, is I see a bunch of people saying about the new ones too. Is it's got this bezel. The bezel's just so big. It's like, you know what? I fucking need a place for my thumb. You know, and especially because they don't give us physical buttons anymore. I like having a bezel. I like something to hold on to.
I like something to hold on to with my women too.
Yeah. But I have no problem with that look. The edge to edge thing, that just creeps me out because it's gonna break like fucking easy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing. There's no place to hold. There's no place to hold. You get the fucking devil horns, a new iPhone X. God damn it. I know it's 10. Doesn't matter. It's still bullshit because it's an arbitrary number. Take that, Nate. I got a sandwich waiting for me, man. Let's hit this.
Okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
Fucker. Welcome to episode 102 of the Podcast of Terror, production of the Galactic Network. I'm your host, Matt Stein. With me, as always, is Corey. Let's hurry up and get this done so I can eat a fucking sandwich. Scott. Corey, how are you?
I can't live off my reserves forever, man. I'm down to a very trim 270 pounds.
Of pure sexification.
That's true. And mostly nuggets.
And dick. 100 pounds of dick.
Dick nuggets.
Dick. Ooh, man, if your dick tasted like chicken nuggets, I just...
I like them breaded, but I don't necessarily like all white meat because I'm an equal opportunity dick eater.
Dick eater?
I guess.
I
had no place to go with that.
I take dicks of all colors.
That's true.
Do you prefer the teardrop dick, the boot dick, the round dick?
Well, I don't like the teardrop dick because I don't really go for people who were in prison. It's just too real. It brings back too many bad memories.
Were you in prison?
Did
a man touch you in your bong bong?
Two separate stories now.
Two separate stories about your bong bong touch. I had to put a little hot sauce on buttholes. I would put hot sauce on a dick. You just don't want to get it into the pee hole.
Sriracha?
I'm on a Valencia kick.
I don't know what that is, but I don't think I've ever had Sriracha either.
Valentino hot sauce. It's Valentina hot sauce. I don't even know what I'm putting in my mouth anymore.
Hey, how big is it on the Scoville scale? Is it got the ghost pecker?
Oh God, no! It's only 2100. It's
okay.
I like hot food, but I also like to not get 3rd-degree burns on my asshole when it comes out.
I had a Szechuan experience once. It was bad for everybody involved, which is mostly me and the toilet and people waiting outside for me.
For anyone that cares, Sriracha is 2,500 to 2,800, so Valentine is a little less hot. I was out of hot sauce. I was at Walmart. It was $1. Don't fucking judge me.
There were 9 things that we could have judged you on from that whole bit. And if you want to judge us for more on this podcast, including show notes, contact info, and subscription links, go to gncast.com/pot. And to chat with us during the show, you can sign up for our Slack at gncast.com/signup. Or there you can also subscribe to the newsletter. The newsletter, frankly, not enough talk about dick nuggets or sriracha.
Yeah, we should have a sriracha dick nugget corner in the newsletter.
That's true. Probably show up with lines equal to or better than the people who showed up for Szechuan sauce at McDonald's yesterday.
I don't want to talk about it.
What a fucking disappointment.
I just wanted the fucking Szechuan sauce.
In a land of disappointment that is McDonald's food already, that was just so mishandled.
Well, and then I heard that they limited you to one.
Limited one, and it only came if you got the new chicken strip thing.
The buttermilk tits.
Yeah, it's like, here, buy our new, more expensive, not even authentic to what you wanted this for, bullshit chicken strip experience that you'll get one fucking sauce to try out with it, and good luck even getting that. Yeah,
it's a clusterfuck. If anyone doesn't know, so it was a Rick and Morty thing. There was an episode, season 3, episode 1, where Rick basically goes back to the 90s to get his teriyaki Szechuan dipping sauce. That was part of a promotional item at McDonald's for Mulan. And the internet lost their fucking mind, wanted the sauce. Deadmau5 bought a jug of it for $5,000. McDonald's brought it back for one day, which was yesterday, October 7th. They were supposed to sell them at 2 p.m., starting at 2 p.m. There was like a list of stores that were participating, but only like a fraction of those stores even had the Szechuan sauce. Turns out that most stores got 20 cups. So most stores had lines of 50 or more. We were talking about one in LA that had 2,000 people. I think that one had the most at 150 cups. And basically some guy who was standing in line for 24 hours, who's the first in line, got nothing because they decided to go to a lottery with it and he didn't get his number drawn. People hopped the counter, stole it. The cops were called. I heard that the manager was crying through a bullhorn saying, "There's just no more Szechuan dipping sauce."
And you said you were getting email alerts from eBay that it's going for $499
Yep,
for a
someone has a buy now for $4.99. I'm in a lot of beer trading groups, and people are trying to trade what they refer to as whale beers, really hard to find beers, for Szechuan sauce.
And here's the other thing about McDonald's sauce packets in general is that they don't fucking last, people.
Nope.
You got to get that through your head right now.
Did you see the expiration date on those things?
No, I'm sure that it's like 5 days and a hope.
November 26th.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, because I had some in my desk one time, and I forgot to get sauce for my nuggets when I went to McDonald's for lunch one day. I opened up one of the sauces there. It was just the most rancid shit, which you then dip your other rancid shit into to eat. Oh, man, just misery.
You'd think they would put fucking preservatives in it like they put preservatives in all their other foods.
Everything. Yeah. I don't know. It seems like somebody's going to get fucking fired for this.
Probably.
This entire bit was brought to you by the person who said that we talked about politics on the podcast and got a little upset with us.
Oh,
you,
we don't have
we completely agree. You're absolutely right. So now you get dick nugget talk.
But here's the thing. Just don't listen to us then.
No.
Like, we appreciate your feedback.
He was right. You know, we're not a politics podcast, but it might have been the episode we had Matt on, and you can't go to the wall with Matt and not. You just take the conversation wherever it goes with him. And even if it was Jack or somebody else, it is our show, but we make the show for you guys. And so we take that feedback seriously as much as we can. We're going to deviate. We haven't even gotten to the fucking movie yet. We haven't talked about the guest that's not here. We're still us. You know, Matt's probably been drunk for at least 10 hours. And I'm still hungry for a sandwich.
I did start drinking already. It is 3:30 p.m. and I woke up this morning to a lot of empty beer bottles. Yeah. I felt bad. It was multiple trips to my recycling bin.
Oh, I was going to say, it turns out that this entire time, your wife has actually just been a giant pile of empty beer bottles that you threw a sweatshirt on.
I never knew that my wife was just a beer bottle. Never knew she was in my butt.
At first, I thought she was worthless. Turns out I get 10-cent return for her when I take her to the Meijer.
We don't see the Meijer isn't built here yet, so I don't
get
your
man,
reference.
You need a Meijer.
Well, it's they're building it. It opens in May apparently, and it is literally next door to my office.
You lucky son of a bitch.
I am really excited because there are no longer grocery stores between me and getting home from work. So if I need something, it's a pain in the ass. Although, excuse me, I did Walmart shopping online, which was fucking awesome because you do all your shopping. I forgot things, so I still got yelled at. But you basically just pick a time, and then they'll email you and say your stuff is ready, and you check in on the app saying that you're on your way, and it uses your phone's GPS. And then when you get there, the girl was just standing there with my groceries, and you just throw the shit in your car, you sign for it, and you're fucking on your way.
Also very convenient for kidnappers. If she happens to be a size 14, you just throw her in the back of the trunk.
I didn't ever say I didn't throw her in my trunk.
I didn't say you didn't either, because I believe in you.
Oh, boy. We should probably keep moving. Anyways, as Corey mentioned, we are guestless. We were supposed to have a movie filmmaker. The guy's super fucking busy. He told me what he was doing, and I got tired. PJ Starks was supposed to be on. He's having some issues with his cell phone, so he was unable to be here. So we rescheduled him for late November. We are still going to talk about the Monster Project, though, because I kind of watched it. Yeah, I kind of watched it this morning while drinking coffee, feeling like complete garbage and making waffles. So that's what we're going to talk about.
And we do plan to have PJ back at some point anyways. We will put a link to his trailer for his film that's on YouTube, Volumes of Blood Horror Stories. Maybe. All right. I don't get to do the back end stuff, so that's up to you.
Yeah, but you're all about the back end stuff. Don't even
I absolutely
play, son.
I am. You know, because it just makes me feel more comfortable when someone's inside me. But yeah, well, Matt may put the link in there. Otherwise, look at PJ Starks. He seems like a really cool guy.
Oh, super nice guy.
Hopefully get to talk to him soon.
He was making fun of me for having an iPhone, so if he's listening to this, fuck you, PJ.
That's a good argument to have with somebody.
Okay, so here's what happened. Basically, the VR software on his Galaxy phone it pops up and it causes all these issues. So he's like, oh, don't worry. By the time we do this again, I will have gotten a new phone because he needs a new phone. And I said, well, be an adult and get an iPhone. And his response was, be adult and get a different telecommunication software because Hangout sucks. I was like, well, you kind of win because.
And every part of that, first of all, he made fun of me for having an iPhone after I gave him shit for having not an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
So back on you, motherfucker. And
yeah, no, he seems like a super nice guy, though.
Yeah.
In all reality, I mean, I don't want people to think I actually dislike him.
And I also want to point out, are you recording this on an iPhone?
No, I'm recording it on my computer.
Which
like
is a Macintosh?
No.
Right, exactly. So fuck Apple.
Yeah, I don't really care for Apple, but their phones are very easy to upgrade nice. And they work. Only problems I've ever had.
Shit. Yeah, it's
that's
great.
True.
If you drive a Pinto and you only ever want to get to 35 miles per hour, that thing will last forever.
What do you do with your phone that you require such a powerful phone?
Look, man, I am 46 years old. It is very difficult to just masturbate on cue. I need a lot of help. I need some
I use a computer.
Yeah. Well, you know.
So yeah, either have a laptop and then you
just got a camera in front of it. That just makes me feel fat. Camera adds 10 pounds to every place but your balls.
Well, I don't have my balls on the camera.
Why not?
I don't know. I really don't have a good explanation for why my balls
telescoping lens. Should be an act of kindness.
You have a
so
you have a camera lens that cups your balls?
Sometimes. Actually, that's what the CD holder is for. So the movie that we're reviewing is The Monster Project that was suggested to us by PJ.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about it, you know who to blame.
Yep. Sorry. Very gassy.
Yeah, you're having problems. You need to
keep burping up tacos.
And
I ate tacos. I ate tacos last night, and then I had
that's helpful.
Taco meat salad and chips for second lunch.
You went to McDonald's to try to get Szechuan sauce, couldn't do it, and so you said, "Well, fuck this. I'm going to go to the next best thing, which is even worse, Taco Bell."
I love Taco Bell so much. Though.
Me too. There's not a damn thing you can say to it. It's like, we all know it's shit. Doesn't matter. It's fucking Taco Bell. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So before we go ahead and talk about the movie, Corey, what you drinking?
I am drinking from Jackson Hole Soda. That's a name that you can make fun of right now. It's called Buckin' Root Beer. So I got a coupon for a free sandwich from Ike's Place, and Ike's is this awesome sandwich place in the Bay Area. I tried to encourage you to go there when you're out here, but you're
an asshole.
No, your trip was fucked up. There was no way in hell.
That's true.
I don't blame you if you just hid it on your fucking mattress in your hotel room the entire time. But Ike's Place is very, very good. And they have all these different locations. And different locations have different sandwiches based on location. But if you go to one place, and if they have all the ingredients, they can make you the sandwich that's normally available at one of the other places. So I got a Super Mario, which is meatballs, marinara, and mozzarella sticks.
Holy shit, does that sound good?
Oh, yeah. No, goddamn. It is amazing. I usually get the Deep Throat.
Okay, wow.
Which is ham, bacon, American cheese, mozzarella sticks, and extra dirty sauce. And I get it as dirty as it comes.
I have so many questions right now. Actually, just two.
You should. You absolutely should have gone when you were here.
What is dirty sauce?
I don't know.
Okay.
All I know is it's amazing. It's like a garlic buttery beautifulness.
What is the name of the sandwich you got?
The Deep Throat.
No,
not this time. This time I got the Super Mario.
Okay.
There is a Wario.
Jack Pacone is rolling over in his grave at how you said Mario.
Mario.
Yeah, you were Mario.
But then Wario is called Wario. So is Wario supposed to be Wario?
Oh my God, Jack! I know you're listening. Right. We want an explanation. Why is Mario, but Wario is not Wario? Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, and if you get the Wario at Ike's, it is vegan meatballs.
See, I like that because Wario. Now I'm saying it. Wario is evil, and vegans are evil. I'm just kidding. Right. I have nothing against vegan people. I just choose to eat the fuck out of meat.
Although I
I
don't
don't
know
want
if they have
anyone
vegan
getting upset.
mozzarella sticks. It's really weird. And there also is a King Koopa, which I think on top of everything else that the Mario has,
Stop
it has stuffed jalapeno peppers or breaded stuffed jalapeno peppers. Yeah, fucking Ike's is a beautiful place. Anyways, they used to and apparently didn't today. They had my Dang, which is a butterscotch root beer, but they didn't have it. So I'm trying out this Buckin root beer from Jackson Hole soda, and it's not bad.
Okay.
I also got a special thing for next week.
Is it a butt plug?
When I'm done.
Oh boy.
Crack it open.
I'm drinking it's in Spanish. La Parcella? It's pumpkin. It's pumpkin beer.
You're really into pumpkin beer.
I'm a white girl.
It's fine.
I have like a couple more, but
that's why I try to lure you into my van.
No, those are minors. Little boys. But yeah, it's from
I thought you meant it was people that we make work the diamond mines, like it's a blood diamond kind of group.
Jesus Christ. This got out of hand quick. What are we doing here?
We were going to review 2017's The Monster Project.
Huh. Are you sure you don't want to do something else?
I mean, I can go on about fast food or root beer or sandwiches.
Let's just turn this into the fast food restaurant podcast.
Yeah, it would not take much. It's not even a sidestep. It's more of like a trip and landed outside the line a little bit of it. Now we're fucking. Let's talk about Jack in the Box and their breakfast and why it compares to Burger King. Good. I prefer a croissant sandwich. I don't know why. There's just something about it.
Man, those croissant sandwiches, even the croissants at Quick Trip, which is a gas station local to Wisconsin, Minnesota, the croissants are too like weird fake buttery flavored.
Oh yeah. That's exactly why I like it.
And I get that. I just prefer a nice hearty English muffin that's so toasted that it cuts your mouth when you're eating it. That's
no, at McDonald's they do like the sausage McMuffin with egg, although sometimes the egg's a little much.
I'm a without egg kind of boy.
Yeah, I'm not hating that. I'm thinking that might be where I go to next. It also is like a fucking $3 difference, which is just weird.
It really is. So when I was a kid, every Sunday after church, my dad would take us to McDonald's, and this is probably part of the reason I'm fat. So thanks, Dad. But I would get a sausage McMuffin without egg, 2 breakfast burritos with hot sauce, a hash brown, and I think that was it. Back then, that was like $8. Now it's $3.75.
I do not cotton to the breakfast burritos.
Oh, those fucking breakfast burritos are so goddamn good. But now they're like Asian dick size. They used to be like a burrito, and now they're teeny tiny little guys.
So they're flautas.
Yeah, I could deep throat them.
Well, you can do that with a larger.
I could deep throat a large burrito too.
I don't want to take anything away from our Asian community, because I haven't done a comparison. As far as I know, all dicks are bigger than mine. It's fine. I've learned to deal with that. That was called high school gym. But I don't like burritos that aren't strictly beans, cheese, and preferably red meat. I like either ground beef or carne asada. I don't enjoy pork or chicken in Mexican food. I don't know why. It's my whiteness.
I honestly we are just going to talk about food for an hour. Maybe. I prefer chicken and turkey and pork to red meat most of the time, but I do love a good bloody steak.
Yeah, I can't have steak as much as my wife would like to. She's like, she gets in a steak mood and all of a sudden it's like, hey, let's get some steaks tonight. Okay, we'll have steaks. The next day, I don't poop, and she's like, hey, let's get some more steaks tonight.
You just compounding the issue if you keep going.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what I'm going to have next to that? Cheesy potatoes? Sure.
Ooh,
let's just block it right up.
See, I'm the opposite way. I eat a steak, and within 10 minutes, I'm just blowing an O-ring.
Oh, I'm like that now with eggs.
Oh, that sucks. I love eggs.
I realize that I'm allergic to store-bought eggs. There's something about the way that they treat them.
We talked about that last week.
For salmonella. Yeah, just kills me. Yeah, because we were talking about your farm fresh eggs from home.
Yep.
This
is my fucking life.
Which may be what I need.
We got a new coop, a new chicken coop.
I was waiting to hear how that went.
And it's super duper nice. And the guy this guy is the largest coop builder in the Midwest, which blew my fucking mind when he told me. He was like in his 40s and just fucking ripped. I was like, I expected you to be a lot older and weirder. How did this happen? He's like, I used to build houses, and he got cancer in a house. Yeah, he told me, and it was like a environmentally brought on type of lymphoma. I don't know if he could be lying. I'm not sure.
No, he could be right.
He could be right. He could be lying. I don't know.
A lot of fucking weird shit with building materials, and we don't realize it until years later, and you've just been exposed all the goddamn time.
Yeah, so he built himself a chicken coop, and his wife was like, hey, you should put one up on Craigslist. And now he has a full-time employee that all he does is build these things.
He's the Cooper.
Yeah, so we just like wheeled it into our backyard, and it needs to go further into the backyard. And I tried moving it myself, and it's not like it's made to be moved, but it's made to be moved with 2 adults. So yeah, and God bless my wife, but I don't know if a 5'1" woman is going to be able to help me wheel this thing into the backyard. So I may have to wait.
Well, she is made from recycled glass, as we already said.
She's from recycled glass and red meat. Yeah. Is there anything not about the actual podcast that we started to talk about that we need to finish talking about?
Man, if we were the We podcast, this would all be our outtakes, and we would be off next week.
Nope. I'm a glutton for punishment, so we do this every week, and we just leave it all in.
And by the way, he's not talking about punishing himself. You guys are the ones who had to listen to all this.
That's true. Sorry, I'm right-handed, backhanded pouring a beer.
Matt is not very dexterous at all unless there's alcohol in his
I could do a pirouette to pour a beer. Yeah, Corey's right. Food and beer. Those are the 2 things that I get out of control for.
We're gonna have to talk about this movie.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So
I remember at one point looking at it and being like, wow, there's still 49 minutes left.
It did not go fast.
Nope. And then I started eating, and it was still on, and then all of a sudden it was over, and I'm like, this part sounds fucking awesome, and it was just the credits.
Right. What was your favorite part? You know, when everything
the
stopped.
Credits. Right. When it was over.
When I got to go away.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, cool, it's the credits. So I went to stop the movie, and I started listening to the lyrics, and it was like a shitty cock rock band that probably wrote a song just for the credits. That's like a buddy of the guy who made the movie. And I'm like,
Yeah, I assume that it's Nate Ward's favorite band because...
Oh, boy. Because it sounds like Nickelback?
Because it sounds like, yes, everything Avenged or whatever.
I don't even know if he listens to the show, so he may not... I
think he only listens to it when he's seen the movie. So
I hope he hasn't seen this movie.
I can't imagine that it's not his favorite. So the Monster Project, for people who aren't familiar with it, God bless you. Mm-hmm. It is a found footage movie.
A found footage piece of shit.
But that's most found footage movies. It does do something that I appreciate. It's the Blair Witch was only ever the Blair Witch. There was no real effects to it. It was just, this is the way the movie is, and it's all found footage, and it was basically made on the cheap. When you got to Paranormal Activity, it's like the Blair Witch all the way until the last 5 minutes, and then they introduce something supernatural, and you actually get an effect, and then people think that's the scariest fucking thing in the world because they just sat through 2 hours of dull-ass shit.
Yep.
This does it at the halfway point.
And that's the thing. So the point at which I went to see how much time was left in the movie is when they're talking to the 3, the demon, the skinwalker, and the vampire, and it was when shit started to get real.
They walk into a bar with a pope.
Pretty much. Now, my other major complaint is, and I'm just jumping right to the middle of the movie, but the acting, the vampire's acting was so over the top and terrible.
Although she is, I think, from what I can tell, one of the more successful people in the cast. She was in The Nice Guys with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, which was a great movie, by the way, but not really for this.
So when they were talking to the Navajo, the Skinwalker, I was like, wow, it's actually kind of like compelling and interesting. You can't see what the guy looks like, and it's all the story. And then it cuts to this chick who couldn't act her way out of a fucking box if she had to. It was just...
and had the Jared Leto Joker smile on her hand thing. Which is that a tattoo stapled was it a tattoo staple before they put it on Leto? Was it
No.
something they were emulating what Leto did? It's the you put your hand over your mouth and it's got a big grim smile there.
This movie actually was, they started to make it in 2013. They finally finished it in like 2016, and it finally came out on video on demand last August. So that rationale could be easily blown out the window because Suicide Squad came out
2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago already?
It might have been last year, but it's almost at the 2-year mark because of when it came out.
So that doesn't work then.
No, you might be right. Well, 2 years ago they probably would have started advertising it in Entertainment Weekly and showing pictures of Leto as the Joker and build you up for that disappointment.
I didn't hate it that much.
No, I didn't hate it that much either. I didn't like it, but and honestly, Leto wasn't bad. And here we go off of this movie again. Leto isn't bad, and it's just that they promised so much Joker in the commercials and everything, and then they didn't really deliver it in the film.
No. And Jared Leto was a very good representation of one form of the Joker.
Yeah, a version of.
He's just not the Joker that everyone's seen in all the movies. He's not the Heath Ledger style Joker.
Or comics,
I think that's why people got a little upset about it. But
Ledger wasn't Nicholson, and Nicholson wasn't Cesar Romero, and that's all.
And none of them were Arnold Schwarzenegger,
right? Which
he was Mr. Freeze, but I still got to give Arnold's due.
Yeah, he had Riddler style commentary.
Mm-hmm. So Monster Project.
So yeah, let's go back. The movie starts out found footage. It's these two guys, Devin and Jamal. And Jamal is basically the Kevin Hart of the movie.
Yeah. Just forced comedic relief.
He started out with a couple of funny lines, and then it just became less funny and less believable as it went along. It's just they said, okay, we want you to be funny, but we also need you to deliver on all the exposition. Mm-hmm. And I think it stole away from what otherwise could have been a more enjoyable character. But Devin and Jamal are doing a ghost hunter type show on YouTube, but it's fake, and they're getting hits and they're building up stuff. And Devin suggests, well, what we should do is we should do a project where we bring in real monsters, and we do that. That'll get us some real hits. Now, I don't know where you go. And Jamal actually makes this point. He's like, but there's no such thing as real monsters. And Devin's, well, I put out a casting call on Craigslist. Well, yes, that's absolutely true. If you're going to be looking for real monsters, Craigslist is where you're going to find them.
Yeah.
And I believe there was a no fatties line in there, which was, again, it was kind of funny. Mm-hmm. and seemed appropriate for Craigslist. The other part of the story is there's a guy named Brian who's living with Devin's ex-girlfriend, Muriel. They're just roommates, but Brian's interested in more. Brian is a recovering addict. I don't remember what he's addicted to. I think pills of some sort.
They made it sound like heroin, but then he gets caught doing pills later by the vampire.
Yeah, they do say heroin, and then they keep saying that his eyes are dilated, but his eyes wouldn't be dilated.
That's a fucking, yeah. I remember reading somewhere that was a fuck up. They were saying the opposite. Heroin would or
Oxycontin, I think is what it is.
That's what they catch him using. But usually people who do Oxy end up doing heroin because heroin's cheaper.
Yeah. That's absolutely so true. Thank God for the good people of the streets. So he is recovering, but there's always like some sense that he might be relapsing. And certainly we've established we follow him down that path a little bit. But Devin convinces Brian, and therefore also Muriel, his ex, who hates him, to help them on this project. He tells Muriel that if she helps, she will actually be the director instead of just his lackey. And they go and they try to recruit different monsters to be in the project, and they have them all meet up at this house. There's one scene where we go out to what is like the Arizona desert, I think, to find Stephen the Skinwalker. They get a video of someone named Shiori who is possessed, and they send some blood in to Shayla, who is our vampire, our tattooed vampire person, who is very, very what you'd expect, the natural progression from the old Vampire the Masquerade live role-playing game to be, not necessarily today, but certainly 5 years ago or whenever they first started filming this, and maybe today too. It's very cliche. They're all kind of cliche, although, like you said, the Skinwalker one is the most interesting, but the Skinwalker is also the one that we see the least of on the screen.
Yeah.
And they have to alter his voice because he's trying to hide his identity, because I believe he's a cop.
I don't remember if he was a cop or it was just because he was Navajo, and if he spoke, he would be shunned.
He may not have been a cop in America. He may have been a Navajo, like on the reservation cop, because they have their own police force. But he said something about having to wear body cams because of what they do. So sometimes you see stuff from his perspective.
Yeah.
So that's another thing, is that the usual conceits of a found footage film is that you're seeing the stuff and it's not really edited. All of this stuff is edited together. If a character says that they're supposed to have their voice altered, it's been edited to have the voice altered. It's not like it's just found footage where someone would go through this with a fine-tooth comb to put this all together. They honored that pact. And just in general, that's the thing, is it starts out feeling like it's one type of movie, but then becomes a effects-filled horror film in a haunted house, which is fine. But it kind of depends, I guess, on what you're looking for when you go in. You expect one thing, get another thing. That's not always bad, but it's not necessarily good either. What I will say about this is that when they started doing the stuff in the house and they started introducing the different characters they were going up against, it reminded me of a VR game. Like something that you would play in a horror genre game where you'd run around and you'd have all these creatures that would jump at you, and it's a lot of jump scares and it's a lot of chasing and people saying "oh shit" and running away and getting pulled through walls and everything. So it's very cliche to what that genre is, but it's not good nor bad in what it's doing. It's just kind of the same thing over again. One thing that I'm not sure if you knew this, I didn't. When we had Jack on in our episode 99, we did a story about a site that was this sort of game. I put the link in the show notes again. It's the mindgggames.xyz. And it was one of those things that you kind of have to figure out answers and put in URLs and everything, but you can't put it in the HTML. You have to jump around through the site to be able to find the answers to it. That game that we talked about, and I think you had actually said that it had already been solved and stuff, that actually related to this movie.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, but that was part of the promotion for this film. So that makes sense, because at the time that was going on is about the time that this movie would have been getting released. I think it was August. So that's okay. I didn't really follow through on that game site, so I'm interested to see what that thing did going forward to lead into this film. There's not a lot of information that I can find out there just by looking it up from that. I think you kind of have to play through it.
I had found a website that had like every new URL listed out, so you could go through them if you wanted. But part of it was trying to figure out by staring at things blankly what you needed to do.
Exactly. The best thing to do with people who have shortest attention spans on the web is to say, now look through every square inch of this fucking site for the next 10 hours and maybe you'll find something. No, I have Cliff Notes.
Give me the TLDR, please.
Yeah. I just want to unlock. I just want to watch the video like I do with the girls in the fucking Nightmare House from the 90s on the PlayStation. So yeah, I can see if this was actually used as footage to then become a a VR game like for an iPhone, or if you have Class, a Android phone, then that would actually be good. You would feel immersed in it. And for the most part, when you're watching it, it's the same experience because those VR games are bullshit anyways. But the effects are general. They're what you'd expect from this kind of stuff. I think they were good for what this movie was. I didn't expect them to go that high up into what it was. When I started watching it, there was the scene where the witches touched Brian and he shows up at the party that they were at earlier, and he's walking around and everybody just kind of freeze frames, but you can still see the smoke going up from a cigarette and everything else, so you know that everybody's just sitting really still. Then he turns his head for a second and turns back, and then everybody's standing there looking at him. It was creepy. It did what it was supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, the movie was kind of a cool idea, and it was just executed very poorly, which sucked because it seemed promising.
Yeah, I don't know what all can be said about it. There were a few minor things that I thought were great. There was Jamal acknowledging that he was the black guy and therefore was going to be the first to die.
And he did be the first to die.
But he had come back from it. Yeah, he's like, I'm not dead yet. And he's like, in your face, motherfuckers. And then he still is the first to die. There's stuff where each of the different people kind of get bit or turned into one of the creatures, sort of. Muriel gets possessed by the demon at one point, and then I think becomes a vampire after that. So Muriel's just having a shit fucking day. That's a rough night. That's a rough night for anybody. Yeah. Next thing you know, you'll be waking up next to Matt's pile of wife. And
fuck you.
And then the very end of it was,
I'm dying.
We find out the whole thing was bullshit, and Devin set all this stuff in motion because he's part of a fucking cult that's trying to bring back the Antichrist. So great way to bring in the Antichrist at the end of your Skinwalker vampire possession movie in a haunted house.
He was a dick.
He was a dick. So there's the moment when they walk into the haunted house and they see Martha, who is in a wheelchair. The guy who brings them in, Richard, I think, brings them in, and they see Martha and they think Martha is part of the whole like monsters, and Martha's not. She's just some woman in a wheelchair that's in the house. And that reminded me of did I ever tell you, it might have been on Weird World Weekly, about the woman named Donna that everybody when I was in high school used to call, and she would tell you what you were wearing and who you were standing with.
Yeah, that's
yeah. That was like a moment where I had to stop the movie and sit and tell my wife, because my wife had never heard that story, strangely enough, but because she's not from Michigan. But it's one of those things that I don't think about too often, like how we track down the psychic woman that used to bark in the phone and tell us all this weird shit that she knew that she shouldn't have known. Yeah, I was like, oh, well, that's really cool. And then they didn't really do anything with Martha. In fact, I think she stood up later and helped kidnap Brian at the end.
A lot of loose ends in this movie.
Well, it's not even like it's loose ends, because they accomplish what they're trying to do. It's not like there's a payoff of anybody getting away, or, well, we get to the end and we realize that the people who did all this fucked up. It's just, no, they want to summon the Antichrist. They summon the Antichrist, and then it stops. It's kind of similar to the end of Cabin in the Woods, except Cabin in the Woods had a much better journey getting you there, and it made sense at the end that that's what they were trying to do. This just felt kind of tacked on to everything else to give you a twist. To just go of like, hey, it's not just about these three creatures. We brought these three creatures here so we could do this whole other thing. I guess, yeah. If I was going to write a movie about a cult trying to bring about the end of the world, how do I dress that up? And this is one way to do it, but it just didn't seem like we were ever getting that story along the way. So we get there just to get there.
Yeah, assuming he obviously started with the twist and worked backwards and very poorly got to the point. Like, I'm going to summon the devil. So I'm going to befriend people for years simply to then turn around and use them to summon the devil. Seems very unlikely.
This was all planned thing, just does not seem to work out because it relies on, because he had to fuck things up with Muriel to do it and still then get her to agree to go do this, or were the people not really the matter? I feel like they were all picked for some reason, but we don't see any of the reasons. We don't get a payoff. If this was one of those Wild Things movies where at the end, after the whole film is done, you see everything play out, they'll back up and they'll show you how things went along, and they'll give you the reveals of like, oh, this is how Naomi Campbell was doing this the whole time. Or like, here's where she pulled out her teeth to make it seem like that the guy killed her in the woods or whatever. Like, that would be something. It just seems like it gets to the end because this is where we needed to stop. And these were the 4 things that we could choose from that we could film on screen, and for the costs and stuff we have. I don't hate anybody who makes a movie, especially a lower budget movie, and just does the best they can. You know, while it's not any originality, it's taking a lot of things that we've seen before and finding a way to integrate them, which is probably better than what Universal is trying to do with their monster movies right now, trying to get Tom Cruise to wind up in something with Angelina Jolie and all these other people all tied together by some weird Russell Crowe. I don't know what he is. Oh yeah, he's Dr. Jekyll. And you have the first one tank, and it's like, well, now we got to see if we can still make the next ones. At least this puts everything all up front, and just like, here in this one film, we're just gonna blow our wad, respectfully, and do everything we can to make something. I can see it was written by 3 people that have all done work together on stuff before, and I can see 3 people getting together and saying, oh yeah, and then we can do this, and yeah, we can do this. And so, if anything, it maybe suffers from editing, or it suffered from mediocre execution. I don't know.
Yeah, there's, I don't know, whatever. The guy took the time, wrote a movie, made a movie,
which is a big deal.
Yeah, and we're just kind of making fun of it.
Yeah, well,
I wouldn't say making fun of it. We're picking it.
We're the everyman ratings. Yeah. We're telling you how we thought of it. Hopefully before you get this far in the episode, you've taken the chance and watched it so that you aren't spoiled on it, because maybe this is the kind of movie that you would enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, just because it doesn't work for us doesn't mean it doesn't work for you.
No, and that's exactly true. And I think if you didn't really care about a lot of the stuff that we brought up, like why spend so much time making friends just to summon the devil, like maybe you'd like it.
Yeah, and maybe you're looking for a way to summon the devil, and this is what you need to do.
Don't call us. We don't want to be your friends.
If you're
summoning the devil, I mean,
the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you might not be right for some.
Let's fucking rank this movie. After that, I don't want to be here anymore. You singing to me? I don't want you to sing to me.
Got a sandwich.
Son of a bitch. Hey,
I'm going to invite you to the back of the bike shop.
Put that sandwich in your cocksucker. Yeah, so in season 2, because I got lazy and I haven't reworked the rating system, we just do 0 to 5 with a brief explanation as to how you came to that. We don't have a guest, so Corey has to go first.
Thanks. I'm not gonna say this is the worst movie that I ever saw. I'm just gonna say that I'm not super interested in watching it again.
Right.
That said, I appreciated some of the things they tried to do, and I like some of the effects as they were. It, like I said, it looks straight up from a video game, a small video game studio that's up and coming, or the end of any of the Paranormal Activity series. I'm gonna be kind. I'm gonna give it a 2.
That's actually not that bad. I'm gonna give it a 1. I mean, it was definitely not the worst movie I've ever seen. Nowhere near the best movie I've ever seen. I would never watch it again. If someone asked me if they should watch it, I would probably preface the answer with a very large disclaimer. either way, like I said, these guys wrote a movie. They made a movie. It's more than I've done with myself. So,
and I appreciate PJ suggesting it because it's one that I probably wouldn't have found on my own, and certainly not one that I would have seeked out knowing what it was about.
No, and that's very true. I probably never would have watched this movie if it wasn't for him. And that's not like it's not a knock in any way. It's just it doesn't jump out at me as a movie that I need to watch.
Yeah, we like being exposed to things that we wouldn't find on our own. That's part of the joy of this as well. And the joy of having guests on is that it's unfortunate that PJ couldn't be here because it was his choice. It may have been something that he actually really enjoyed, and I would have liked to have gotten his take on it as maybe a counterpoint to what the flaws that we see maybe are the things that he actually thinks are really cool. And so it's a bummer, but we definitely look forward to having him back sometime. And we always look for feedback. So if anybody wants to give us feedback, if you've seen this movie and you disagree with us, or if you've seen it and agree with us, please let us know. And you can let us know by contacting us at 805-328-3966, or you can email us at pot@gncast.com, or you can leave us a message on the website. You can also go to our Facebook page. We are Podcast of Terror on the Facebook. We've got an Instagram and a Twitter as well. You can also find the shows on Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes, if you're that person, or wherever your favorite podcatchers are. And you can give us ratings if you feel like it. You can tell us about your quest for Szechuan sauce. Hopefully, it turned out better.
Goddamn sauce.
Yeah. Subscription options and links can be found at gncast.com/subscribe, and you can join the page for our network under Galactic Network.
Corey, where can the nice people find you on the internet?
Right now, because it is October, my buddy Levi, who I help publish his comics and artwork, is doing Inktober, which is a challenge where you draw a sketch every day for 31 days. It's kind of like when I do NaNoWriMo in November. So he is publishing every day at don'taskcomics.com, and if you go to that site, it'll take you to the links to the different things like his blog or to the comics that I helped write with him, Baoyar, his classic Levi's World, or Spells, the comic that he did with Chrissy Ambar. So don'taskcomics.com.
Awesome. You can find me Twitter, Instagram, and Untapped at Matt the Lifeguard. Next week, we're going to be watching Monster Squad, which I thought was funny. We're watching Monster Project this week, Monster Squad next week. It's the 80s movie. I just recall someone getting kicked in the nards. But our old pal Erica from Apex and the Abyss is going to be back to watch that. Should be a good fucking time.
Yeah, and speaking of Apex and the Abyss, recently I was listening to an episode about the Zodiac Killer, which was right where I live anyways, and I heard a very familiar voice.
Yeah, you did.
I thought it was God.
Corey, kill your family. Don't really kill your family. No, Corey's right. Erica asked me to do some readings for her episode of the Zodiac Killer. There was myself and I think 3 other guys from different podcasts did some readings of the Zodiac's letters and shit that he sent to the police. So yeah, if you
because Matt is never enough for anybody. If
you haven't got enough of my sultry voice, head over to check out Apex and the Abyss, the Zodiac episode, and you can hear about a minute more of me.
Yep. And if you'd like to help out this podcast, we have recently opened up our Amazon affiliate link. So if you go to amazon.podcastofterror.com, it will take you in, and then you just shop like you normally do at Amazon for whatever it is you're purchasing. You'll see no difference in what you pay. It just maybe, we're trying to figure this out, will help out the podcast a little bit, help Matt pay for and maintain the equipment that he uses.
Severe pornography addiction.
Yes, exactly. That's we're not going to lie. That is precisely what you're paying for.
I just need more boners in my life.
Mouth. Whatever.
Thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Podcast of Terror. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Stay scary, everybody.